I don't speak English very well. I can try, and if you don't understand me, Benoit or Gilles will translate. Nice to meet you. Welcome Austria, Bulgaria, Poland, Spain, and also France. It's like Eurovision Song Contest, all Olympic Games. So welcome at all. I'm Pascal Forestier, the academic delegate for initial continuing vocational training, and I am also a deputy to the delegate for vocational training of the Île-de-France academic region. France is divided into 30 academies grouped into 18 academic regions. And I am the advisor to the rector of the Academy of CRETEIL, and also I am the director of the public interest group GIP, dedicated to continuing education and professional integration. It's okay? You understand me? Okay, thank you. You are very nice. So I want to, at the beginning, I want to talk about missions of school, the school. The Article 1 of the Education Code defines the missions of the school. In France, education is the first national priority. The public education service is designed and organized with people and students in mind. It contributes to equality of opportunity and to combating social and territorial inequalities in educational success. In addition to the transmission of knowledge, the nation sets as a primary mission for schools to share the values of the Republic with pupils. The public education service teaches all pupils to respect the equal dignity of human beings, freedom of conscience, and secularism. The right to education is guaranteed to everyone in order to enable them to develop their personality, to raise their level of initial and continuing education, to integrate into social and professional life, and to exercise their citizenship. The public education has also a mission of continuing education for adults. In this context, I quote the education code. In this context, it contributes to economic, social, and cultural development at local, regional, and national levels. It responds to the collective needs of the country, in particular of companies, by encouraging the raising of the level of qualification of the population and its capacity to adapt to economic and social changes. So I want to in France we have the Ministry of Education. Youth and Sports is responsible for implementing the school's mission. In France, vocational training is divided into initial and continuing training. Initial training provides a degree course based on the acquisition or renewal of skills essential to the exercise of a professional activity. Continuing education allows an employee, a job seeker, or self-employed person to develop his or her skills, to acquire new skills, to obtain certification, to consolidate his or her employability, to change professional job. Within the national education system in France, there are 3 statutes for vocational training: the status of a student in the school system, the status of an apprentice employed by a company, and the status of training in continuing education. Okay?
Oui.
Okay. Thank you, Sophie. Apprenticeship and continuing vocational training comply with the instruction of the Ministry of Education and also to the Ministry of Labour, Employment and Integration. In France, schools. So schools can accommodate all three statutes. The reform called Transformation de la voie professionnelle provides for all vocational schools to train apprentices and trainees in continuing education. The law of 5 September 2018 on the freedom to choose one's professional future insists on the important role of companies in vocational training to develop the apprenticeship and lifelong learning. For continuing vocational training, public schools belong to for continuing vocational training, public schools belong to groups of schools called GRETA. GRETA is a group of local public education establishments, the middle schools, general and technology schools, thank you, and vocational high schools that pool their skills and resources to offer continuing education for adults. It relies on the equipment and personal resources of these establishments to build a training offer adapted to the local economy. In France, there are 111 grades, 30 selectors, at least one per department, per county, per district, at least one per district. As the greater, you have the chiffre d'affaires, the revenues. The revenues, donc, all great writers in this, donc 468 millions. 468 million. For 500,000 trainees per year.
Per year, yeah.
Per year.
Yeah.
For 400,000, it was in 2020 because of the crisis
of the COVID epidemic.
Yeah. And Greta, we have 6 Greta in the Academy of CRETEIL, 6 Greta. You have the revenues, donc 27 millions, 28 millions, and we had Greta's from
la réforme.
Non, les Greta formés, accueillis.
Greta's trained.
Les Greta's trained 26,000 persons.
Yeah.
Each Greta is created by an agreement concluded between the establishments and approved by the rector. The rector is directly responsible of the Greta map. He fixes the number and the respective areas of intervention. In each academy, donc at least in each academic region, a GIP-FCIP, a public interest group for continuing education and professional integration, supports Greta. Donc it provides initial and continuing training for the staff of the Greta. It offers a network, training for trainers and tutors. It provides training engineering and human resources consulting services for companies and public bodies. It implements variation of acquired experience. It coordinates and manages European or international projects in which Greta is involved. It coordinates response to public or private calls for tender. It manages the academic mutualization fund. The mission and services of Greta. Donc, main mission, welcome and guide adults, employees or job seekers, help define the project and the qualification path, set up training and defined services. So, we have a local level. Each Greta schedules training based on local demand for continuing training. Companies, regions, municipalities define their needs and publish calls for tenders. The Greta are selected proposals are both efficient and competitive. Because the greater are public training organizations subject to competition. The management of Greta is ensured by a General Assembly and its management by a support establishments which must be a member of the group. In Greta, there are a president, there are un ordinateur,
a chief executive.
Yeah. Greta trainers are teachers with national education specially trained in adult education, trainers from professional sectors recruited on the basis of their profile, and a lot of teachers who teach also front of pupils, students. On the regional level, the originality of the Greta is their network operation. The activities of Greta of the same academy are coordinated by a technical advisor of the rector, of CRETEIL, it's me, with the services, with the CFC,
vocational education counselors.
Thank you. It facilitates the DAFPIC facilitates the relations of the Greta network with the region public partner, with local companies, with institutions, etc. On the national level, the Ministry of Education National, it was there is a national network of data.
Yep.
Which the main missions were what are the mission of
the Gretas?
of the Greta network? They can join the forces at regional or national level for services covering a geographical needs.
Yeah.
For employment,
for training. The strengths of the network. I'm a little tight. The strengths of the network of Greta. Training responses adapted to the problems of each client, reactivity in responding to public and private calls for tender, local, rapid, and locally adapted offer, increasingly remote or mixed solutions, and the possibility of harmonization of services and the companies, establishments, and partager l'information, partager
to share engineering and best practices
and skills.
So the network of Greta, national network, and local network, regional and local network, have to develop the international cooperation, and the project is a community project which allows to share experiences, to increase professionalization. And thank you to to listen to me this morning. It was terrible for you. I'm absolutely sorry.
No, it was perfect.
But so I can quote Shakespeare, please, to be. So To be or not to be? To be or not to be? That is not the question. to speak English is the question.
That's very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Monsieur Forestier. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for your intervention, which is very important because it really does stress out the importance for ourselves, for our organizations, of cooperation and networking, because that's exactly what we are, what we represent. We are a network, as Mr. Forestier said, on local levels, regional levels, and national level in France. And cooperation is something that we work with every day, in everyday life, and within just about every single one of our projects. So it was important to be able to set that down. If you do have
une expression pour rajouter, en fait, voilà, ce que je souhaiterais, sur quoi je souhaiterais vraiment insister, c'est qu'on a cette originalité d'être en réseau, et de travailler en réseau, et surtout cette originalité d'accueillir dans les établissements publics d'enseignement vraiment la formation tout au long de la vie, c'est-à-dire à la fois la formation initiale, scolaire, apprentissage et la formation continue. Et cette possibilité qu'on a en France permet réellement de travailler dans cette idée de continuum des parcours, en fait, finalement, pour la professionnalisation.
So Mr. Forestier was just saying he wanted to add that, of course, we're a network and that's part of our DNA and that's what we do. But the most important fact, the most important thing that needs to be stressed out is that all this is done within the public sector. All this is done within the public school system, within the schools. So our schools completely play the role of integrating lifelong education, vocational training. I think that's the main point of what was said. If you do have questions, if you have a few minutes maybe for questions. If you have questions, please do.
Thank you so much.
Okay, well listen, if you do have questions even later on, you will be able to either jot them down on the public chat room on your left-hand side. And thank you very much, Steli Beteva, for your comments. Very much appreciated. So yes, you may of course use that chat board for that. You will also be able to, if you want to ask questions at a later stage, you can email the questions. We will give you all the information which you will need for that. You already have my email address because you've received the invitation to this seminar and with the link. Therefore, please do not hesitate. Once again, you can use the raise your hand button, which is on your right hand side of your screen. Yeah, please do feel free to intervene. The whole idea of today and the next few days, of course, is once again to exchange and to also hear what you guys have to say from France, from Spain, from Bulgaria, from Poland, from Austria. So thank you very much. Yeah, so Mr. Forestier has other issues to attend to. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Merci.
Okay.